Okay, so this is going to be my official NAOYA, the Monster INOUE versus Marlon, the Filipino Nightmare TAPALES breakdown. This is going to be a good breakdown, people, so if you're new to the channel, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And if you feel like donating, the Cash App will be either in the description or the comment section. Now let's start by going through the tail of the tape. NAOYA INOUE stands at 5'5". He has a 67-inch reach. He is 30 years old, right in his prime. His record reads 25 wins, 0 defeats, 22 of those wins coming by way of knockout. He also has 2 of the super bantamweight titles. This fight is for undisputed. INOUE won undisputed in the bantamweight division last year, and he's attempting to go for a 2-time undisputed here in this fight. Okay? Marlon TAPALES stands at 5'4". He has a 67.5-inch reach. He's 31 years old. He is a southpaw, and his record reads 37 wins, 3 defeats, and 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Now, don't let that knockout ratio deceive you. Marlon TAPALES can fucking crack, man. That dude is not a light puncher. He can really put it on people, bro. As you see, he puts people in stretchers, just like this poor kid on the floor right here that I'm showing you clips of. All right? Now, not much of a difference in their height reach. Basically the same height, same reach, same age. Both have 2 titles apiece, and this is for the undisputed 122-pound championship of the world. So not much differentiating them there with the height, the reach, the age. They're both basically the same. The only big difference being is that INOUE's an orthodox fighter, whereas TAPALES is a southpaw. He's a left-hander. Both are right in their prime. They're right in their early 30s. Both guys have very good punching power. I would still probably give INOUE I definitely would give INOUE an edge in punching power, considering he's moved up 4 or 5 weight classes and is still putting people to bed. But don't get it twisted. TAPALES can crack also. Now, I really wanted to dig deep into this fight before I made a valid breakdown video for you guys. Now, TAPALES' 3 losses, 2 of them were very earlier in his career, when he was in his early 20s. But his most recent loss was to Iwasa, another Japanese fighter who in turn Akhmadaliev made a title defense against and knocked him out in 5 rounds. Iwasa was coming off a layoff when Akhmadaliev fight him, but Akhmadaliev nonetheless got him out of there, stopped him, I believe it was in the 5th round. But Iwasa TKO'd TAPALES in the 11th round. But TAPALES has never been out cold. He's never been flatlined. Like, he's a tough Filipino hombre with that gangster-ass Filipino mentality, bro. TAPALES is a good fighter. Now, obviously, NAOYA INOUE, who's arguably the best fighter in the world at the moment, is more accomplished with the accolades. The man's a 4-weight champion. He's a former undisputed champion. He's a current unified champion. The guy's got several Hall of Fame wins on his record already, with 2 wins over Nonito Donaire, a win over Omar Narvaez, and he just most recently had a mega fight in Tokyo against Stephen Fulton, which by the casual eye was considered a 50-50 fight, but if you really looked into it and really know your boxing, you knew INOUE was going to kick the shit out of him like I did, right? I didn't expect to see him be that dominant against Fulton, but I did expect INOUE to whip his ass, which he did, right? Now, I've said this before and I'll say this again. Marlon TAPALES is a beast. He's a good fighter, but his resume is very, very lacking, okay? Even with the Akhmadaliev fight. Now, mind you, Akhmadaliev was coming off a layoff. That fight really could have went either way. Personally, I thought Akhmadaliev edged the fight out, okay? But in that Akhmadaliev fight TAPALES has, I thought Akhmadaliev won at 7-5. I didn't think TAPALES should have got the decision. But it is what it is. It was a very close fight. However, if you go back and rewatch that fight, Akhmadaliev was very hesitant and gave away a lot of the early rounds to Tapales because he was wary of A, his power, B, his awkward style, and C, his counterpunching. And these are things NAOYA INOUE will need to be cautious of going into this fight as well. However, Tapales is an awkward style, man. He's very tricky. He's got a good counter left hand, a good right hook, good attributes to have for when you're a southpaw. So I don't think this is as shut and dry, cut and dry of a fight as people might think it is. I actually think this is going to be a lot better of a fight than people expect because of the awkwardness of Tapales, because he's an awkward southpaw that throws punches from weird angles. He's tough to, he can be tough to land on, right? Tapales doesn't have the greatest head movement, but his stance and the way he counters shit and lets guys lunge in, like you just saw right there with the counter right hook, boom. You understand? It makes him a tricky fighter for INOUE to decipher. You understand? Who the forget fucking get O'Shaquie Foster off my screen. Now, anyways, it makes him a tricky fighter to decipher. It does. All right? Now, with that being said, I do think INOUE has the better jab of the two. Obviously, as I said, INOUE has the far superior resume. He's got more accolades. Both guys have tremendous toughness. The Asian fellas, God bless both the Japanese and my Filipino brothers and sisters. Asians are cut a little bit different, bro. They're warriors, bro. They're samurais. A little bit like the Latinos, man. And the Russians and the Eastern Europeans, for that matter. They would rather die than lose, and this fight's no exception, bro. He doesn't, they don't want it. Tapales he's not going to leave any stone unturned. You're fighting arguably the best fighter in the world, and you have a chance to become undisputed champion. So I expect Tapales to really test NAOYA INOUE's mettle in this fight, man. I really do. And, but that being said, I think Tapales, he has been stopped before. He hasn't been in there with the greatest of competition overall. He does have a questionable win over Akhmadaliev, and the other name fighter that he fought, Iwasa, TKO'd him in the 11th round. All right, so with that being said, let's go to the Stephen Fulton fight real quick. With that being said, I think Tapales is going to actually give INOUE a good fight, unlike some people. I don't think this is going to be a complete blowout. I do think that Tapales will give INOUE some resistance. Like I said, he's not going to leave any stone unturned. This is a big Filipino-Japanese rivalry. These guys are both going to come for blood, man. I think it's actually going to be a very good fight, an entertaining war. And this is how I expect the fight to play out, ultimately. I think Tapales will be competitive with INOUE. I think INOUE's going to get his jab working early. And off of that, I do see Tapales landing some good counter shots on INOUE. But INOUE's so fucking tough. We saw him fight a Nonito Donaire with a broken orbital bone, bro. So, the guy's relentless, man. He's very, very tough and durable. And for that reason, I think INOUE has a good edge in this fight. That mixed in with the experience and the resume and the accolades that INOUE has. So, I think it's going to be competitive for a few rounds. I think INOUE might be a little bit hesitant to jump in there with Tapales just because he is awkward. He has power, and he is a left-hander, and he's got some good counter shots to him. Now, with that being said, I think after 4 or 5 rounds of maybe some good back and forth, I think then the tide's going to shift into INOUE's favor, where INOUE's going to find his range, he's going to find his rhythm. He'll be able to read some of the counter punches that Tapales is throwing at him, and eventually, I think INOUE is going to start to have his way with Tapales. I think once you get to rounds 4, 5, 6, the tide's going to shift. And after a couple of scary moments from TAPALES, INOUE's going to find his rhythm. He's going to find his range. He's going to be able to avoid the counter punching of Marlon TAPALES. And eventually, I think INOUE's going to get him out of there in the mid to late rounds. So for my official prediction, I'm going to say that NAOYA INOUE gets Marlon TAPALES out of there in the 8th or 9th round after a very valiant effort from TAPALES, where he has a couple of moments against INOUE in a very good competitive fight. So like I say, for my prediction, I got INOUE getting him out of there in rounds, either round 8 or round 9, I'll say. That's my 2 cents anyways, guys. I'm very, very much looking forward to this fight. It's the day after Christmas. I'll probably just stay up for the night after Christmas Day and go ahead and do a live stream on it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, yeah, I got INOUE getting him out of there in 8, 9 rounds after a very competitive fight and a valiant, hard-earned effort from Marlon TAPALES. And I also wanted to say God bless to my Filipino brothers and sisters. You know, I have a soft spot for you guys, but I'm also a big INOUE fan, and I have to keep it real now, guys. So I don't want any of my Filipino brothers and sisters to be feel disrespected with me saying what I'm saying. So with that being said, guys, please, like I say, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. God bless you all, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. And if you feel like contributing to the channel, the Cash App will be below. So like and subscribe. I got INOUE in 8 or 9 after a very competitive fight. God bless everybody, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Take care now, guys. Bye-bye.